On this episode of Real Estate on the Rocks, we're going to talk about what your life would look like if you went all in.
Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks. I'm joining the studio today with Marshall and James. So we've got DMJ in here today. Dave, James, and Marshall. Dave.
What's going on, y'all?
Oh, not much.
What's going on?
Not much. What do you got
Not
going on over there,
much.
Marshall?
Not much. Just ready for this podcast today.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button there at the bottom there and give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Every day coming in here, doing these podcasts for y'all.
We just appreciate it every day. Like we see it like, oh, somebody subscribed. I really appreciate that.
Damn it. We do.
Of course we appreciated it. All right, Marshall. All right, so today we're going to talk about our lives. Like I want to start off by, all right, back to the table, guys. Here we go.
Right.
We're gonna grade our lives a little bit, you know. And so I want the listeners out there to just kind of think about this real quick. On a scale to 1 to 10, you know, how's it going for you so far? You know, how's your career going? You know, how's life going? So, you know, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And, you know, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, just killing it. I would say that you're doing 36 deals a year.
Got my
right?
scale backwards there.
Yeah, there you go.
I readjust.
You know, 36 deals a year. Certainly if you're doing 26, you're on a great track, right? But let's just say you're killing it. 36 deals a year. You know, that's 3 deals a month, right? And so to be doing that, I would say that you're killing it. You know, so I would say that most people we run into and we talk and we ask these questions too, they always come back with a 7. You know, I'm doing a 7, and I'm sure some people are a little bit modest.
That's what I put.
You know,
7.
Right. Well, let's put that in perspective. If you just gave yourself a 7, you know, let's go of a grading. You know, let's take a look at it from like a grading point, right? So like it's a grade. You just gave yourself a 70. You know, you're doing 70.
That's pretty much what I made in college and
you're getting
classes.
a C in life. There you go. Well, I wish you would have told me that before I hired you. So, so you know, and then a lot of times we get a 60. You know, I mean, we get a 6 or a 60, and right there, that's a D. I mean, a 60 is the lowest form of D. You know, it's the lowest D on the scale right there. You know, so you're getting a D in life. So I just want to kind of talk about how we can raise that a little bit. How can we, you know, you don't have to go from 0 to or 60 to 100 real quick, but you know, it's like, you know, it's how do we raise that month after month? You know, how do we shoot and strive to get that 10? You know, maybe we'll never get that 10. Maybe that's that thing that we're always going to be striving for, right? Yeah. And so if 10's absolute perfection, obviously we can get 36 deals if that's the gauge. You know, that's a decent
if
bar
that's your
to
100,
set.
yeah,
Right.
or 10.
But I mean, what goes along with that every day? What do you have to change in your life to get those 36 deals a year to be, you know, self-sufficient or, you know, a big part of a team or whatever else, you know, just to be considered really killing it and meeting all those goals. So, I want to talk about this. Let's get into it real quick. So, I mean, you say you're at a 7, you know.
Well, I might raise it to about an 8. I mean, I'm kind of hard on myself, I guess, and only because I know that from continuously learning every day, I know there are systems and processes that I may not be doing to the full, you know, ability that I have. I know that sometimes, you know, I'm guilty of kicking the can down the road. And so I know my weaknesses, and I know that I could probably do more.
Okay. So how do we go about striving to fix that? How do we shake your comfortability a little bit, you know, and get you out of that zone to where you're just, in a sense, complacent with the 70? You know, life's good. You're making a decent paycheck. You're getting a hell of a lot of people. Right. I mean, I wouldn't say that you're getting by. I think you're doing a little bit better than getting by.
Yeah,
However,
that's a business score there too. So if I, you know, factor in life into it, I think I'm probably doing a little bit better than an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to say that, like on you being a father, you know, and I said, hey, how would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 being a father? I would hope you wouldn't say a 7.
A 9, somewhere 9.5.
Yeah, I mean, from outside looking in, that's where I would rate you.
Yeah, ask them, I might be a 7.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't ask her.
Ask who? Your wife?
My kids. Oh man, Daddy grounds us. He's a 7
On a good day.
Right. Yeah, right. So, you know, what's that look like? So what would it do if we started changing the way we look at things and take complete ownership over our lives, because that's a lot of things out there that I see with agents is there's a lot of blame game going on, right? And there's just kind of, well, we can't do this because there's iBuyers. We can't do this because, this team over here just owns market share. We can't do this because every time I call, someone else has called, 10 other people have called this for sale by owner, expired, or withdrawn. There's always the excuses out there. So what if we just stopped caring about the excuses and we went after it? If a rejection's what you're scared of, what happens if you just stop caring about rejections? What if you every day took ownership over this and you set out every morning to fix your bad habits? Right. And so if you all think that none of us have bad habits or you don't have bad habits, I'd really like to talk to you if you have no bad habits.
Right.
And bad habits can be just that right there, that complacency, that tad bit of laziness maybe, and nobody likes that word laziness. Everybody gets a little bit offended when laziness comes up, but if you ask somebody why they're not prospecting today, they'll have 100 different excuses. But on the coaching end of this, I think we always drop back to say, in a sense, it's complacency, it's laziness. They're just happy with their lives, at that point, or just they're just happy with mediocrity. And I never really want to be caught up with that,
Right.
And so I know that I get very complacent. I get very lazy.
When you met me, I was pretty complacent. Like I said, I was salaried.
Right.
I had it easy. I was working at my pop's place, so I could do pretty much what I wanted. I had people under me, and it was complacent. I didn't see a need to move towards something better, a bigger paycheck. I didn't realize that it was in front of me, that it was obtainable.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason to strive for it.
Yeah. Well, back then you didn't know what you didn't know.
Exactly.
Now you know. Now you know that there's something else out there for you. And so, I see you striving. I see you.
What else is out there?
You doing your things. I think you have some bad habits. I think you do.
Absolutely.
But I know that we could look around this table and we work very closely together. We work together. We're on a podcast together. We coach together. We do a lot of things together. And it's like we all know our bad habits, and a lot of times, we can flush those out by just calling each other out. And so. It's a lot easier for me to call you guys out. Just kidding. But once you realize that you're to blame, this will actually empower you. Once you can't blame the iBuyers, you can't blame the other great agents out in your market. You can't blame, that you've got, I've got to pick the kids up from school at 4:00 today, so I can't prospect this morning. I have to get all these other things done. You've come up with some pretty wild excuses, Marshall. So, once you determine, that it's all up to you, that's when things, I believe, can start to change. That's when you empower yourself to change.
If it's meant to be, it's up to me.
Yeah, and you start working on that once again, that mindset all the time. You wake up in the morning and you try to start better habits, right? I saw that Sean Kokoska this morning had posted something about the 60-day challenge, which I'll print out for everybody. And I'd like everybody in this room to really start a 60-day challenge, and maybe I'll move that over to Top Shelf Agents Network also, and I'll post it on there. And let's give everybody about a week or maybe after EXPCon when we get back, and let's start a 30-day challenge. A 60-day challenge with some people that want to be a part of it.
Oh wow, that's next week, right?
Yeah. So
came fast.
We're going to Vegas, baby.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, let's start this 60-day challenge, and I'm sure Sean Kokoska won't mind if I pull that off the site where he posted it and share it on our site and invite everybody in there to take a little challenge. So you've got about a week or 10 days or so to start thinking about what we want to do or what you want to do, because it's up to you. I'm not going to make that goal for you to change. And that's any listener out there that wants to join us really on this is you have to come up with your own goals. You have to pick your worst habits. Is it that you sleep in too much? Is it that you eat poorly? Is it that you don't exercise? Is it you hang around with the wrong people at the office? If your habits just to James starts looking at me.
It's like I hang out with David Marshall at the office.
Those are the wrong people. So yeah. So we just have to really kind of think why we're what's holding us back and start working towards that to change that habit and get away from that. If it's surrounding yourself with better people, that can just be a habit. You know, it's like every day I'm going to try to surround myself with positive people that are doing, you know, that are doing things that are making, you know, them a little bit more successful. You know, I mean, if you're hanging around, you know, a group of overweight people, more than likely you'll become overweight. If you hang around a group of alcoholics, more than likely you'll start drinking a lot. You know, if you hang around a bunch of millionaires, you might become a millionaire. You know, and so what? Yeah. And so you just have to really kind of change your surroundings and change your habits. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little challenge. And what's that one thing that we can do? Let's dig that one thing that we can do in this challenge. And we'll do that. So let's get that going on Top Shelf Agents and accept anybody in that might not be a part of the page. So be watching people to join it and just get them in. And then let's try to shoot for a minimum of at least 15 to 20 people that join us on our little challenge here and kick this off. So we'll come up with a good date. We'll get back to you on this next time, one of these next podcasts, and have a more solid date, or watch for it on Top Shelf Agents. So what are you doing? You know, or what are you not doing? You know, let's keep on this little track a little bit. So what are you not doing, Marshall? What are you not doing right now in your career that you think you need to be doing? You think you're doing everything you can do. You think you're living the fullest potential of being a realtor?
No.
Okay. Hey, can you expand on that instead of your one-word answer?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm a little bit busy, and so I've taken the foot off the gas a little bit on running ads and keeping my my social medias together.
Knowing that is a fatal error.
Right.
You know,
right.
A fatal error as far as business goes. It just halts business when you don't maintain these things, right?
Right. And I realize the fact that I'm taking my foot off the gas a little bit. So, once you realize that you're doing that, that's when you can correct it and apply the pressure a little
Seems
bit
like you've been partying a lot.
No, not at all.
Seems like you've been partying a lot.
Birthday party, 4-year-old and 7-year-old. There were cupcakes. They were strong.
It's the party that I'm talking about right there. All right. So, okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. And I would say that's an assessment that I saw as like, I don't think Marshall's he has a lot of time to continue because he has so many clients he's working right now. And this is where our ebbs and flows come in, right? So we've always tried to fix this. And it's been so hard because we don't have we're really good at marketing ourselves. However, we don't have a dedicated marketing person. If we actually had that, then I believe there wouldn't be the ebbs and flows. So was it time to introduce that into our team? Is it time to put somebody that's in charge of just marketing and bringing in leads and our lead generation tactics, and they just take it over for us? And now, we've already got rid of all the paperwork, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't really do any paperwork. That's not the smartest business decision a realtor can make, is to sit there and do their own paperwork.
No
we
way.
have a contract to close person. They do all that stuff. So now let's look at doing a marketing person, right? And so that unloads, and so we can give it 90 days, and we can put towards a lot better effort and see if the leads keep coming in and see if that works for us. I believe it will. James, if you have to pick the one thing you believe you need to double down on right now, what would that be?
Talking to more people. With all the efforts we're doing, I mean, both the prospecting side or the real estate side and the marketing side, I have to probably triple at least the amount of people I talk to. And so I've been picking that up a little bit more and just have to keep focusing harder on that. And I think if I stay consistent with that, it'll definitely pick up, both sides of the business.
Yeah. I would agree. You don't have to triple, but just double at least, because just the 2 you talk to now would turn into 4.
Hey, 2 is better than 4. No, I had some good conversations.
No, 4 is better than 2.
Oh yeah. Same. Same thing. I said it backwards.
Now you sound like
awesome.
me.
So I would agree with you that you need to have more conversations. You need to, build more relationships. And I think everybody needs to do that. And even on my end, I've been doing more marketing myself lately, and it's crazy. You see the influx of business coming in, so like that's one thing that I wasn't doing either. Is, I'm the team leader, and I'm building a company on the side, which is always detrimental to any entrepreneur when they try to do 2 things at once, or build 2 companies at once. It's you build one until it's sustainable, and then you can work on your second project. the real estate game right now, that's sustainable. I mean, things are going well, but I still have to lead with revenue. I still have to be an agent every day, but I was surprised since last Friday.
Then you get 5 referrals and
Seven.
7. Oh,
7
goodness.
referrals.
You didn't tell me about the other 2.
Yeah, 7 referrals. And then one of my sellers just called, and they had leased a house because they had to move out, and they couldn't be contingent, and every property they want wouldn't accept a contingency, so they were running out of time, so they just had to lease. They called last night and said, we found the house. Here it is. And I looked at it and I'm like, it's been pending for 30 days. Like, where'd you find this house? It's definitely not something I've been sending you. So where'd you find it? And it was actually a street over from them. So, it's pending. So anyway, that was the 7th one was just kind of somebody in my sphere that I know. But 7 deals walked into my life since last Friday. And for everybody knows, it's Tuesday. Today we're recording. Today is Tuesday. And so in the past few days, and all I believe that is credited to is that I went gangbusters on social media with all my stories, with my logo, with talking about real estate again and doubling down. And we just did a show the other day about an all-out assault on social media.
Yep.
And that was the one thing I needed to change because I kind of backed away from it because I thought that I was polluting the airways a little much with my social media. But once again, I had the realization that it's a noisy place out there. And if people, if I'm only hitting 20 people and 20 people are sick of me and there's 4,500 people or 4,700 people on my Facebook account,
Yeah.
and I'm only offending 20, I'm not doing my job.
They can scroll on by.
Yeah. I need to at least offend 1%. So
Yeah.
I need at least 47 people. I
think
to
people
have upset
forget
with me.
how the analytics or how Facebook works. You're not actually popping up in as much as we would love to do it. You're not actually popping up into every single person on your friends list feed. Like they're not all
yourself,
seeing
James.
you. You would want them to. You hope that they do, and then you think like, oh, I'm just annoying everybody. Nah, you're probably annoying like 3 to 5 people because that's really like a small percentage of who
But
your
I
actual
guarantee
friends.
those 3 to 5 people that you're annoying, when they hear the word real estate, they are going to think of you. You've created that.
They're like,
top
go
of mind
talk to this
awareness.
guy. Please get him off my Facebook feed.
Right.
Go do business with him.
I had a good friend from high school was just like, hey, my boss is looking to buy a house there in Austin. They want an Airbnb. It's anywhere from 400 to 700,000.
Yep.
And just blah blah. Like she doesn't like any of my stuff. She
Yeah.
doesn't ever say hi to me or anything like that. And we're just friends from high school, And I mean,
Yeah.
I give her the shirt off my back if I saw her and she needed me, and that's just how the friends from high school still are.
Yeah.
However, it just boom out of nowhere. Like, hey, my boss is looking for a place up there. I just want you to talk to him. You guys would be a great fit. He's got a personality just like yours. And, here you go. And so here's his phone number. Here's his office number. And here's his email. Like he's expecting your call. So what do I do immediately? Boom, call.
Yeah.
And so we talk and she's like, this is what I want. Marshall over here is the Airbnb expert. So I ask him, he sends me everything I need to know about Airbnbs. He has a little package that he sends investors. I send that over to him. He reads it and he goes, so you're telling me that my goals are going to be a little bit hard to achieve. And I was like, yes, not to crush your dreams. However, we'll make it work. I'm a problem solver and I'm going to make it work. And he goes, well, what about Georgetown? And I'm like, boom. What about Georgetown? So, Georgetown doesn't have any rules when it comes to Airbnb yet.
Yeah. Nice.
So if he's an early adopter and he gets in there, that just makes his property more valuable and the ROI would skyrocket if they did put stipulations. If something was grandfathered in of where he was Airbnb, boom, right?
Yep.
Problems are being solved every day. And so, it's just kind of, I got the opportunity to do that and look, my phone just pinged and it is another referral. Go ahead.
It's true. It pinged.
I can back him up.
Thanks. No, like I was lying to everybody.
Yeah, it's being able to stay present and communicate with people is definitely going to keep you in there, but stay consistent with it. It's not just that they randomly saw one piece of information that led them along that path. It's the sprinkles or the breadcrumbs that we continue to go.
It's consistency.
My buyer, it came from a close friend of mine. And it's because we talk all the time and she knows, that I'm here and we're obviously in the same city. And she was like, hey, my cousin needs to buy a house. Go talk to him or her.
Yeah.
That's the magic thing about real estate, though, is you can have a dry week and then just turn around tomorrow and have 4 or 5 clients, and just
you get the dry week going, and you're like, man, just nothing's clicking for me. I don't even know if I like this real estate thing anymore.
It goes the other way too. You get like 5, things going on, and then 3 drop out, and you're like, easy come, easy go. But I mean, you just never know.
It's always easy come, easy go with me. And so I think everybody needs to adopt the 5-minute funeral rule. I lost 2 we had talked about in one of the previous podcasts, but I lost 2 big ones, like almost $500,000-$600,000 worth of sales just jumped out of my hands. It was nothing I can do to, because I'm on the seller side. And so when they terminate the contract, I can ask why. One didn't answer me, and one gave me a really good, valid reason why, they couldn't do it, and so that was painful. And the most painful thing about that is that you have to call the seller and say, hey, look, I know we were 15 days away from closing, and you were going to get to close out that property and move on to the next chapter of your lives. However, things happen. I have to, it's just my job to tell you the bad news. It's going right back on the market. And then I make sure that they see my marketing. If I start doing marketing, whatever else, but when I start marketing the property again, I make sure that the seller sees that I'm trying my damnedest to sell that property for them.
Yep.
So, all right, man. So our 60-day challenge is going to be coming up. This should be pretty fun. I want everybody to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. How many minutes
Be
we
honest.
This podcast? Just 20?
Yeah.
All right. So we got a little bit more time.
Be honest, because you're only hurting yourself if you're not. So
Yeah. We can do, we'll post the whole plan for the 60-day challenge, but you can rate yourself on where you are for the challenge or for the topic that you're trying to go to. And then, on the start, we'll do like weekly check-ins and then do the whole plan.
We'll ask
set it all
everybody
up.
to drop it in the comments below.
Yeah.
But just drop what you're thinking there on a scale to 1 to 10. I'll ask the question and drop it in the comments below.
Yeah.
And so we'll see if we get anybody that's willing to play along with us and grow. And at first, I say minimum 15, 20. There's probably going to be about 2
Nah, we'll get more than that.
2 or 3.
The challenges are fun.
you
I
change
like
that
them.
mindset, Dave.
In
We're gonna
in
get
60
25.
in 60 days, how many do we retain from there, right? So if if we do have 25 people to start, we'll probably end with 2.
Yeah. Starting's the easy part. It's who's going to maintain all the way through.
It's staying consistent,
Yeah.
right? And,
Consistency,
and building that mindset. And a lot of times, I was in an accountability group with some friends. Steve Fole was one of them. My buddy Chris Ayala was one of them. And we had, for every task, every goal that we put down, we would, or we didn't achieve, we had to pay in $5. And what would frustrate me was, and it frustrated, I think, everybody in the room, but there were a few people that didn't go after any of their goals. So they'd set 5 of them, and that was kind of like the cap. Let's set 5 good goals for the 2 weeks we met every other week. And they'd show up with $25 and just drop it on the table right when they came in. And I'm just like, man, you're not even playing. Like, what happened? Oh, wow. I don't know, man. I just didn't want to make any phone calls. I didn't want to do this. And, next thing you know, the kitty there was like $400 some odd.
Whoa.
Which we ended up donating, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think actually somebody who worked with us had a tragedy in their lives and they needed a little bit of help, and we just gave the money straight to them. But it got up there rather quickly, and it was crazy. It's not to say I paid in. Or I just didn't achieve one of my goals. It wasn't that I just didn't flat out do them. To not flat out do them,
Right.
should have been a $20 per goal. Not just did you try for your goal and not hit it.
Yeah,
You
because
still
there's a
have
big
$5.
difference.
Oh yeah,
Big difference from like I tried, I was working on it, stuff happened, I kind of let it slip, versus I'm good, I'm gonna pass on that.
I got really busy, and so I can always gauge that with
nothing?
other agents too. Is like, you got really busy, cool. How many things did you put in a contract this week? None. Then you weren't busy.
Yeah,
You weren't busy enough.
yeah.
And people will make excuses, shrug their shoulders, just like you just did, and say kind of like, well, no, but I crushed it, like, okay. All right. So the real thing, if you did crush it Monday through Friday or Monday through Sunday, if you really did crush it through that week, I would expect within 14 days, I would start seeing something under contract. Right. And so that was been the thing with some of our agents out there, is that we would go through this. They would tell us they were really busy. They were making their phone calls from home. They were doing everything they needed to do. And within 30 days, they still had nothing
Crickets.
under contract. Right. And so it's kind of like, come on, man. Like, I know how many leads have come in this week. I know how many leads we distributed. It's just kind of on top of that. I know how many fresh for sale by owners. I know how many expireds are out there. I know our numbers, and I can see. But now we have a
appointment set either. So it's like, you're
Right.
not going to have any closings if you don't have any appointments set.
right. So it's a vicious cycle. But I hate calling people out. However, it seems to be the best thing to start changing people's mindset to get them into action. I know it worked with you, certainly. It worked with me. You know, I'm pretty hard on myself. I call myself out just as much as I call anyone else out. But
I've seen you go through several mindset changes, though. Like when you first came into Keller Williams, and then you had the mindset that, you know, we should join with everything they're doing. And then we had the mindset where we kind of pulled back from that a little bit. And then we had the mindset where that is the kind of culture that we want again. So we've kind of gone all over the place, but I think we're at a good spot right now.
yeah, I think we're always ever changing, right? We're always looking for the better mindset. We have to be evolving. I mean,
We have to adapt.
We
and
do
change.
we do stay consistent. We all on the goals. I mean, our goal is to always be doing business, always be solving problems, always be helping others.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, that never changes. But yeah, I mean, sometimes like the rah stuff. You know, like, okay, let's just try it their way and buy into it. You know, and
Let's be comfortable about being uncomfortable.
Yeah. You're a good sport about it sometimes. At least initially, you're like, I hate that stuff, but I'll sit down and I'll try it for a little bit, just to test it out. I've seen you go into go in there like, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna keep my eyes open.
I'll always approach things with an open
then,
mind, right?
and then make your decision based on it, not just always. Even if at first you're like, that's garbage, I'm not gonna do that stuff. You'll circle back and be like, all right, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
So
I'll go
that's
out there
good.
with an open
That's
mind
good.
and see how it goes. But you know, I'm not the kumbaya fairy dust type of guy. You know, I think nothing can replace hard work. I mean, you can put yourself in this mindset, and you can you know, kind of come from this mindset of abundance without being in the mindset of like, if I manifesting, right? Mm-hmm. So I can't talk. I've been watching Big Brother. Right, this season, and there's this girl in there. I think her name's Christy, but everything she talks about is how she thinks things and then they manifest. Right, and it just drives me up the wall. Like I just want to just choke on the remote, you know, and like I just kind of. I don't know. I just there's lots of people that think in that way. Like, have you ever seen The Secret before?
No, that's what I was telling you yesterday. I was like, man, I was just thinking how busy of a road this is, and you know, there's a lot of wrecks on this road. And boom, I saw one in my rearview mirror, and then I was like, man, that's crazy. And then I saw Jeremiah out in the backyard, and I was like, man, he's gonna fall down if he don't get away from that. And boom, he fell down. I was like, babe, you gotta do something.
Right. And I get that. I mean, I've always thought that the thoughts become things, and if you think of things, you know, they can start, in a sense, I guess, manifesting. However,
'cause you see
if
the things
if
and
I
you're
think
pulling
about,
them.
I mean, if I think about an elephant's about to storm our office and come through
That
there, and I
probably-
think really hard
probably
about it, it's not going to happen.
No,
you know?
But if it does, I'll be freaked out.
I got bad jokes there that I can start saying, but I won't.
Marshall's gonna be looking out the window all the time, like, is there an elephant for real?
Yeah.
Never know, dog. Never know what Dave's up to.
All right, so let's go ahead and get out of the studio today. So, in summary, just I want everybody out there to think about what their lives would look like if you went all in. You know, and if you believe you're already going all in, take a step back and really analyze it. You know, score yourself 1 to 10. What do you think? Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself without being overly confident. Because if you give yourself a 10, I'd wonder about that. Mm-hmm. You know. If you give yourself a 7, you know, you can always do better, an 8, 9, you know, I mean, if you're really killing it as a 9, and then you can ask this question about anything that you really do. Mm-hmm. You know, you can obviously ask it about your real estate career and say that if you say you're at a 10 and you're not doing 36 deals or on track to do 36 deals for the year, you know, then you're not at a 10.
Yep.
You know, I'd tell you to scale it back a little bit. I mean, if you're 6 months into the business and you think you're killing it because you're having decent conversations or you get a lot of return on your open houses, or you know you're calling for sale by owners and you're getting decent feedback, but you have no appointments, if you have nothing going on, you know, then if you're not closing, you know, if you're not putting yourself out there in that position to solve people's problems, then you can't be a 10, you can't be a 9, and you can't be an 8. You know, you really have to look at like what you realistically are. You know, if you're a 5, 6, or 7. Just know that you're going to work on it from there. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a 5, 6, or 7. The problem is the people that want to stay there.
Right.
You know, so this is just going to help you gauge where you're at in this last quarter coming up in October. You know, the fourth quarter, it's Q4, man. It's time to kick it in gear. Yep. Everything you do in Q4 is going to push you into a new year and help you launch in January and February and March. And if you think November and December are slow, just wait till you see January and February. You know, I mean, nothing really going on till around spring break time.
Right.
You know, and we have to push it. So, you know, we're going to push really hard. So I would say somewhere around the middle of the month of October, let's start the 60-day. And I would love to just crush some new habits, get them going, and launch into the new year, because, I mean, we just have to be unstoppable in 2020. You know, 2020 is the year to make all this come together, right?
Yep.
And I want this to come together for everybody that we know, everybody that listens to us, and I want to be in one big happy group of prospectors and problem solvers, you know? And so I think it's going to be fun. So join us on that. Stop caring about the rejection. Get after it every day. Get after it. Start working up to until we kick off the, what's the date for October 15th? Duh. That's not what I mean. What's the day?
What's the day?
Yeah. For October 15th. Take a look at that, and then we'll get that going. But that gives us enough time to get back from EXP, get settled in, and EXP Con in Vegas, and then get settled in and get going.
Tuesday.
So it's a Tuesday. Nice.
Perfect.
So perfect day for that. So we'll let you know about that on Top Shelf Agents. If you want more information on Top Shelf Agents or any kind of our coaching programs, or if you're EXP curious, just text 88000. So join EXP to 88000. If you are looking for a new mortgage broker. Is he a mortgage broker?
Yes.
Or do we call him a lender?
Lender.
I don't know the
Mortgage
difference.
broker.
Money Mike.
Loan originator?
Money Mike. I like that one.
Yeah. I call him Magic Mike. So
Oh, Money Mike's better.
Magic Mike over at Guaranteed Rate. Guaranteed Rate, he's a loan expert here in Texas. I know he does some things out in California, and he's got some things going on in Arkansas. So if you want to get a hold of Mike Carroll over at Guaranteed Rate, that is info@realestateontherocks.com. Do not forget to smash that 5-star button and give us the best review you've ever given anybody. For the #1 podcast in this studio, we're out.
I'm out.